So we have three different types of machine learning. What are them? One is supervised learning, one is unsupervised learning, and the third type is reinforcement learning. We do have a fourth category as well, which is called as semi-supervised learning, which is nothing but a combination of supervised and unsupervised learning. But what exactly is supervised learning? And why do we need to know which type of problem are we solving? Because with the type of problem, the algorithms changes in machine learning. The way we deal with a supervised learning problem is completely different the way we deal with unsupervised and reinforcement techniques. Well, what exactly is supervised learning problem? Why it is called as supervised? For the first thing is, the first difference between supervised and unsupervised is, in case of supervised learning, we deal with labeled data. That means labels are important. What are labels? For an example, you have millions of transactions. Out of that, 1,000 or 10,000 are fraudulent transactions and rest are non-fraudulent transactions. Here you already have the labels that these are the 1,000 records which are fraud and the rest of the records which are not fraud. Let's say you have 10,000 customers data, out of which 5,000 or 4,000 people have left the company. That means those are the people who have left the company and are churned. They are labeled as churned, and the rest of them are labeled as active customers. When you are dealing with this kind of data, where you have the labeling done, you need to know what you are trying to do. If you know what exactly problem you are solving, you know that you want to categorize them or create some classification model or some sort of a model which will be able to predict whether a new customer is churned or not churned. That becomes a supervised learning problem. Another supervised learning problem is weather forecasting. Let's say you have date, rainfall, temperature, humidity, precipitation, and based on different features, somebody asks you, can you do a forecasting or a prediction of rainfall for the next 10 days? On which column are you going to predict? On rainfall. So that becomes a supervised learning problem. Inside supervised, we have two different types of problems. One is classification and one is regression technique. Now, what is unsupervised learning problem? Now, unsupervised learning is nothing but a problem where you are trying to solve on unlabeled data. What does that mean? That means if somebody asks you, hey, these are the 10,000 records that you have, 10,000 customers data, can you create some groups out of them so that we can identify which customers are similar in nature? Now, the first question is, based on what criteria am I going to form the groups? How many groups am I going to form? So where you have problems like this, which is an open-ended problem, where you don't exactly know what needs to be done, that becomes an unsupervised problem. So some of the use cases are customer segmentation, so customer profiling. Again, fraud detection is also an example of unsupervised learning problem, where you know that you have 1,000 or 2,000 frauds in that 1 million records, but you don't have the labels. You don't know which record is actually a fraud record and which is a not fraud record. In that case, you have to go through some unsupervised learning techniques. There are various concepts that we understand and do inside unsupervised learning problems. One of them is clustering technique, where we deal with the data and try to create some clusters out of it. Clusters basically means that, let's say you have one cluster where you have 100 customers falling in. That means these 100 customers are similar in nature. How many clusters do we form? We don't know. There are some techniques based on which we form clusters, but on an average, overall speaking, unsupervised learning problems are problems where we don't have the labeling done. Now the third category is going to be reinforcement learning. What is it? Reinforcement learning is nothing but a type of learning which is feedback based. That means, for an example, you might have played a game of chess. The first time when you play a game of chess with an AI bot or with a bot, you might be able to defeat it in 13 or 14 steps. Try to perform the same steps next time. Definitely you will not be able to win, because the bot itself rectifies its mistake and does a relearning on the go. That means it's a feedback based learning. You get the feedback and retrain the models. So that is all about the basics of supervised, unsupervised and reinforcement learning. As I'm planning to upload more and more videos on machine learning, end-to-end machine learning will be a part of my channel very soon. I'm already working on it. So follow-up videos will be coming up on this channel. If you like, please like, share and subscribe the channel and press the bell icon to get notified on my future videos. That's it from my side. Thank you.